right, guys, welcome back to Let's Talk Marriage. We are back in the building, but I don't have Mia Spotho, my better half, on the other side of me. But I do have Miss Jessica Yates here in the building. Yay!
Hi, everybody. I'm definitely not Elias.
I told you guys that she would be coming on today. She is our in-house family law therapist. She's not.
I'm not a therapist.
Well,
Not yet.
our family law specialist that actually comes on the show from time to time, and so she is here today back with another one. She is definitely in her. Like I said, she has her own practice. She does cover family law and so many other things. So we'll get into those things. But welcome back, guys. We're so happy to be back today. My husband isn't here today only because he said, let it be a girls' day.
Girls' Day.
Girls' Day. Girls. So we're doing a girls' day today. And he decided that he would just, go out and get me some food and bring it on back. So that's what we're doing today. But I'm so excited to have Jessica on the show today. But this is still Let's Talk Marriage. So where we speak marriage through transparency. And we're going to be as transparent as we can without because we do have our own businesses. We cannot there's some things we just can't say. There are things that we'll say, to you, but we can't tell y'all everything.
Nope, I still can't. There's all sorts of things that lawyers don't get to talk about.
Yeah.
That I just never get to say.
We can't say it. But she said that to me.
I can't even tell you sometimes.
But if I'm doing something wrong, I'm gonna need you to tell me.
Well, yeah, that. But I mean, like some of my cases, some of the things I find out, some of the things that I know, some clients that I may have. Nobody ever knows who my clients are.
Oh no, we don't
know them, and you would never know that.
We don't want you to break HIPAA. We want you to keep your job.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. We need you to keep
that.
Your job. So
I don't get it.
No, I get it.
You do because you're a therapist, but other people are like, well, why can't you just tell me? And I'm like, I'm not allowed to tell.
No, oh my God. No, people need to stay in their own lane. Mind your business. Sometimes if you find out what's going on with these people, you'll be like, no, I don't want to know. Pineapples.
Pineapples. I said a lot. Pineapples.
Okay.
A lot.
So, but I'm glad that you're here today. Because we get to talk about family as a whole. That's this whole theme of what we've been talking about is just family and how family equates even in the in the Bible, and how God wants us to structure our family.
Yep.
And how that actually trickles down, and then we get into this place where we need lawyers because sometimes you have men who are not able to see their children because they've made some good, maybe bad choices in the relationships that they've gotten into, and they've found themselves into a really bad place. So can you talk a little bit about the rights that men have in order to get their children back? Because some of them don't. They're on child support. They are in this web of like deceit. The woman is doing this, they're doing that. And it's just kind of like a crazy situation. So I know you got some stories.
Oh, I have loads of stories. So what you're talking about is paternity. I'm not sure of the social, economic, and racial background of your audience, but what I will say to you is this, is that establishing paternity and requiring somebody to pay child support are not the same thing for lawyers. Any court that is authorized to adjudicate paternity can and cannot order child support. It just depends on the facts. I'm not asking for child support in every case where I'm establishing a man's rights. I practice in Florida, and I can only tell you about the law in Florida for a fact. I can tell you what other states are similar to us, but for the most part, everybody's getting to where Florida is right now. Any man who has a kid that signs a birth certificate has the same rights that the mom does from the beginning.
But see,
the
now,
law just changed in July.
Oh, so tell us a little bit about that law, because before it wasn't
not
like
that way.
that.
So there's been this presumption. There was a presumption called the tender years doctrine a long time ago, probably when we were kids, more or less, where the law favored for little kids to stay with their mothers.
Right.
Some people kind of took that to the extreme, even though courts stopped enforcing it a very, very long time ago. So, little kids should be with mom. Well, when parents are not married, dads used to have to sign the birth certificate and petition the court. to have the court establish their parental rights.
Oh,
now they do not. They changed the statute. It was effective here in July 2023. So if you're an unmarried father and you sign a birth certificate acknowledging paternity of a child and the mother is not married to somebody else at the same time, because that's a separate problem. But if he's not married to anyone and you're not married to anyone and y'all have a child, then you have the same rights she does. The rights of visitation, the right to support the child, the responsibility of supporting the child, the ability to like apply for health insurance, put the child on your insurance if you have that. The child can inherit from you. You can spend time. You have access to doctors, like all those things that people are typically like fighting about. They fixed that by statute. It's called the Good Daddy Bill.
It's called a Good Daddy
That's what it's
Bill.
called, the Good Daddy Bill.
I've never heard that one. Oh
Yep.
my gosh. I'm just glad that we don't have to go through that drama anymore. You know?
And honestly, it's for Facebook. I'm not gonna lie to you. The cases are not hard to us. They're really cut and dry. If there's a paternity question, we have people tested. The court makes an establishment, and that's it. It's not really that big of a deal. People make it more than what it is. Like the other pieces, I don't really care about them. Like I don't care if she doesn't like your new girlfriend. I don't care if she's your side piece and you're married. Like the court doesn't care about that either. All they want to know is, are you the parent? How y'all gonna share time? How y'all gonna share the money? Who's gonna pay for daycare? Who's gonna pay for insurance? And they get out of your hair. It's not us. It's people. It is not us
because
at
it
all.
just seems so like, sometimes you have these cases where it's just so bad, Jessica.
It is, but it's not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be. One of the things that I try to do in my practice is I try to close a paternity case in a year. It shouldn't take that long. This is not rocket science. Everybody has like the documents they have to provide, like tax returns, bank statements, all that stuff. And let's just go to trial. If we agree, let's just agree. I have some people who are very mature. To me, a lot of times that's what makes the case be drawn out is the immaturity of the parties or people not realizing what they're not fighting over. So like I can look at somebody's financials and say, look, I can fight about this for you, but you're going to spend more paying me than it's worth for you to do that. Let's just go to mediation, agree to something.
Right. Mediation is, I think, the best place to be,
Almost
especially
always.
if you have, a lawyer, I mean, not a lawyer, but a judge who is reasonable, especially, they see these things often.
The judges are reasonable,
but then
they
you
don't
have
like
people that lie.
The people lie. It's twofold. People lie.
Oh my gosh.
And people try to make cases be about things they're not about. And so the
because they
courts
want
get
somebody to
frustrated.
mediate their foolishness. And see, so that's
They're
where
not
I
gonna
come
do
in.
that.
And then they send the people here. You've sent some people to
Yep.
me before to do the parenting stabilization class.
Yes, ma'am. It's
And-
required for every case.
Oh my gosh.
They have to do it.
When they come in here, they try to get me to mediate their foolishness. And I'm just like, whoa. That's a different thing. If you want to come to me for family therapy,
Right.
we can do that. But right now, let me just show you what the law states as far as it pertains to you and you guys sharing custody of this particular child. It's not about you.
Nope. But I think that to me is always the biggest issue is that until people either take that parenting stabilization class or they have like sought out like a child psychologist, a family therapist, something like that, we have a very, let's say, a limited grasp of what child development and family dynamics should look like for healthy brain development for kids. And so everybody comes to the court case with whatever their perspective is, whatever they grew up with, whatever is normal in their community. And that's what they want to apply to their child. And I'm like, that defies everything we know about science, child development, family dynamics, healthy communication, co-parenting, all those things.
Yeah.
And they have to learn. And that's sometimes too what makes the case take a long time because courts will notice that and they'll send them to not only that class, but they can send them to family therapy, like together, the two parents. They can send the child to therapy.
Yeah.
They can appoint a guardian ad litem for the child. Like if like a lot of times it's my big kids who have things to say that they don't want to tell their parents and the court doesn't want them to be in front of the parents saying these things. So they tell the guardian and then these things come out. So that's kind of how we do that.
Stop looking at my paper. You see what I wrote on that? I gotta know, because people are gonna want to know about that. But don't say it just yet.
I won't.
Don't look
So
at my
those
notes.
are the sorts of things that make cases take longer. The court can also make you go to parenting classes if somebody has substance abuse issues, if somebody has domestic violence issues, like all of those like inter-family issues that we don't talk about. As soon as the court is made aware, they have to do something about it. Like they can't unsee it. We can't pretend like we don't know. particularly if like the police have been involved, the child has been hospitalized, like either parent has been hospitalized. Like I've had some really crazy stuff that I've seen. So if the court knows about any of those things, those are the things that make the case take longer.
Yeah.
And then it adds to sometimes the drama, you know, oh, well, he called the police. And I'm like, well, he should have called the police. Like you slashed the tires of his car and the baby was in it.
Yeah.
What was he supposed to do?
Oh my gosh, these are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do have, so you were already there, and then I'll go into my next question. But what is a guardian ad litem?
So a guardian ad litem is someone who is appointed. The word is next friend is really what it means. The guardian's job is to investigate whatever the issues are pertaining to the particular child or children that they're appointed to. So we give kids a voice, because sometimes in the case, I'm not a lawyer, I'm a guardian. I can't practice law, I'm just a guardian.
So you can do both?
I can do both, but just not in the same one case.
Got it, got it.
And a guardian ad litem does not have to be a lawyer. So some of them are therapists, some of them are educators, some of them are like child psychologists and different things. But as long as you have the credentials in the background check, you can be a guardian ad litem. So what we have to do is investigate. Sometimes I'm looking at alienation. Is one parent keeping the child from the other parent or the other family?
Now this is what we deal with a lot.
Sometimes I'm looking into time sharing, because I have scenarios where kids, they tell the court that the child is one place, but the truth is not that. And so how does the court figure that out? Judges can't come to your house if they send a guardian. If there are abuse allegations, we investigate those. I may talk to police. I may talk to doctors. I may talk to the child protection team. That's the special unit at the hospital that investigates abuse allegations that show up on the medical side. Who else? I may talk to teachers. I have talked to therapists, coaches, you know, all those other people in a child's life that might not show up to a court hearing. I talk to all those people as a guardian.
Now, this is really good to know, because sometimes children, they don't have the voice. They don't have a voice because, especially in our Black community, and I hate to say it like this, but I've only been in a Black community. I don't know what it is for the white community, but I know it's not just us, but I can only speak for the Black community and the things that I've seen in the Black community, where the woman almost always tries to alienate. I like the word that you used. Alienate the child, especially from the father, because he's moved on and maybe she hasn't moved on. And then we come into those things where I can understand why the judge would say, no, you need some therapy.
Yes.
Because she hasn't healed from whatever trauma she's gone through. And then now this is where we have this passed down trauma and all these things that happen where you have to come to therapy. And sometimes people don't think that they need therapy, but you need Jesus and therapy. That's what I just like to say, put them both together.
Particularly if you're African American, because the piece about moms, which I think is so fun and interesting to study, before slavery, identity was established by your father, right? In every other country around the world. It wasn't until they brought us to the United States and started basically raping us and having children to perpetuate their wealth, that then magically your identity was tied to who your mother was, because that is how they perpetuated slavery for years. So a lot of those ideas come from there. And until we start to deal with those things as a collective, we still have these issues. Because I'm like, the child is just as much the dad's kid as it is the mom's. The DNA, especially now that we have like 23andMe and Ancestry and all the fun stuff. You get swabbed and you find out all sorts of stuff. I'm like, oh, that came from my dad. This came from my mom. Like, Daddy, I got questions. Why do we have this in our family tree? Like, where did this come from? So children really do have, and we don't know the percentages, which is funny. Like comparing the DNA profiles for two siblings may not be exactly the same, but they have aspects of both families, and they need to see both and be exposed to both. Particularly in South Florida, where we have a lot more like mixed race families, mixed cultural families, like all these different iterations. Kids need to see models of themselves from both sides.
And it's you know, it's very disheartening when you see these things. And then, you know, especially with young boys, they tend to lose, they want to know who they are. They want to know who their father is. And then you have this woman that is taking so much control that when these children grow up, they, like you always say, they perpetuate this particular same cycle of what their father has done, but they've never known their father. They've only been around the mother. And then, you know, this is a little bit deeper. Then you wonder why the children have no respect for the mother, or why they treat women the way that they do. It's because a woman has traumatize them over and over and over again in such a way that it doesn't make sense to the child. And so now they've developed this mindset of women are, whatever they think women are. And that is not the case. No, it's your mama. Or maybe I shouldn't say stuff like that.
Maybe not. But what I will say is that courts hate that. I have seen it backfire over and over and over again.
Yeah.
They order makeup time. I have quite a few clients who are full-time legal fathers. Like they have all the custody. One of my clients, he's my favorite. He was able to tell me like what mom did not do. Mom was not taking this little boy to the doctor. He needed glasses. He had homework issues. Mom would not go to the school. She was, acting a fool at the school, doing all this stuff. By the time we went to the trial, in a 30-day month, she sees this little boy for 6 days. And that's it. Judges do not smile well upon either parent, but it seems to be moms that I see it from most, like alienating or keeping the child from the dad, unless there's something wrong. Like if dad is using drugs, dad is taking the kid on a drug deal, like, dad is taking children to like strip clubs and stuff like that. Well, that's different. But I mean, my regular garden variety dads, of course, hate to see women like keep dads from kids, and they give makeup time all the time, and they charge them legal fees and say, hey, since he had to bring you to court for this, you have to pay for it.
And we're not, we haven't seen that. I haven't heard that, we haven't had to myself.
It happens a lot. It just doesn't get discussed.
And then, that's it's crazy because men need to hear this, that they can fight. And I share with them all the time. Like I'll send, some people your number. And then there's a lady down on this end. She's not a lawyer, but she does know how to do the paperwork. And I often send people to her on this end. I'm in Broward. And if I know some clients in Miami, I'll send them to you. And then you do whatever you do. If they need to go anywhere else, I mean, I just give them your number. But, back in the day, it wasn't like that. These men were getting ate up in the court, and they were just like, you know what? Forget it. I just rather not fight, because it's so much. It's like, why am I fighting for a child that the mother is almost, they were getting their licenses taken.
So those are child support issues. That's separate.
Oh, it's separate.
That's separate.
Okay. Help me. Now, what's the
part? So in Florida, most counties have a separate child support division. It stands by itself. Miami has one of the largest ones in the country. All they do is child support enforcement. That's it.
Wow.
They can't decide time sharing. They can do like a basic parenting plan now, but that was a new addition that they just allowed them to start doing. So all they would do, mom says, hey, this is the dad, because the state wants their money back. So if you got Medicaid, if you got food stamps, if you got subsidized daycare, all those different things, you had to comply with child support. So they would say, hey, well, who's the dad? This is the dad.
And what if they lied though?
They DNA test though. Now that we have DNA tests, so like I have another case right now where the mom is avoiding the child support case because she does not want the last child DNA tested, because my client knows that that's not his son, but he's raised him. So he's like, well, I'm gonna file for paternity rights for everybody and allege that I want all of them. I don't mind being assessed child support for all of them because that's my son. But that case is a separate case from the actual child support case where they want DNA before they assess child support, unless you just don't respond. Now, if they reach out to you and you don't respond, you could be adjudicated or determined to be a father, whether you are or not.
Now, that's the part that gets me, because
change your mailing address. If you don't live at your mama's house, put your real address on your license, on your voter registration.
But so I get that,
things.
But a lot of these men don't do that because they don't want these women following them or
they're not supposed to.
them.
They don't give them your information. The state wants it. They want their money back. They want their money back. That is 100% why child support enforcement is there. So if you don't comply, then yes, your license can be suspended. Your passport you can be not able to travel. You can lose certain certifications you can't have. So like lawyers can't be delinquent in child support. Accountants can't be delinquent in child support. There's several different like medical certifications as well. Anything that has like public trust in what you do, you cannot be delinquent on child support.
Now, what about the women? Why can't they be on child support? Now, I know that they can.
Oh, yeah.
But they get to the men first before, because they're carrying the baby. So
that's not the reason. What typically I see is that women will go to the child support office first. What I would rather see, what I really prefer, if people are going to be mature, I have all kinds of clients every day who do not involve child support enforcement. They call, hey, I'm gonna get a lawyer, you get a lawyer. All we do is plug in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
How much is everybody's gross income? How much is daycare? How much is everybody's health insurance? And it spits out a number. And that is the number. The court has no ability to deviate with except for 5% up or down of what that number is. They exchange it by Zelle, Cash App. We don't get involved with taking it from your paycheck and garnishing your wages. And we don't do all that unless
I think
you
that's
just
what
don't pay.
hurts a lot of the Black men is that you can see that you've worked so hard, and then you see a garnished wage for a child, and get this, that you don't even get a chance to see.
Sometimes, because again, child support court cannot establish parenting, like time, visitation. They can't do that.
And I think that this is, you were our lawyer for at one point, and we went through this, and thank God we're not on. Lord have mercy.
She's like, Lord, I thank you.
Lord,
Everybody does that.
Praise him.
Everybody does that.
Praise him while you can. But I did my, my due diligence as a wife, and I just stood by him as I watched this woman take so much money, but we did not get the opportunity to see the child. It was really a very difficult situation, and we still don't see her. So the only thing that we can do as a husband and wife is just pray that one day.
And what I will say is that many times that one day does come. Because kids, no matter what people tell you, kids want to know. At some point, they will either want to know the truth. They will want to find out if what the other parent told them was the reality. Or they will be in a situation. To me, there's a reason why God gave us two parents. He gave us two parents because we need two parents. So whether you deal with one or the other or don't know the other, like we've had all sorts of scenarios where kids have gone looking for that second parent, even if they were like adopted, born by IVF, like use a sperm donor, all sorts of different things. They want to know who's their second parent because it helps them figure out things about themselves. Even medically, personality. Where do I get these behavior traits from? Why do I like mac and cheese and everybody else in my family only likes baked beans and potato salad? Like that came from somebody. So kids will eventually go looking. What I will say is that is the issue. Most people don't know that child support and family court are separate. We have the ability to pull them together. So like if I have a case where somebody already has a child support case, I can ask the family court to take jurisdiction over that child support case and bring the two cases together. But if you don't know,
you're expensive.
To some people, yes, I am expensive, but I've also been practicing for like a decade.
So no, I'm just saying to call a lawyer is like, it's like, okay, well, we can't work this out.
Make this make sense.
Make it make sense.
To me, the time that it takes me to fix what you do when you do it by yourself, you should just call me first time. It takes so much more to undo it and like have a court like rescind orders, because we can ask a court to modify or change something they already ordered or ruled. We can ask them to have another hearing. We can ask them to do all sorts of things. But to fix what you guys do on your own usually costs so much more than if you just call in the first place, the first time, the very, very first time.
You know how we can be, some of us we want to buy Jordans and all this other stuff, but your children need you. The children need their daddies, they need their mamas.
What people could do, the smartest thing people could do, when you find out that you are having a baby with someone you're not married to, go sit in a lawyer's office together. If you're a couple, especially, go together, figure it out, because there are very simple things we can do that are not expensive. We can file like acknowledgments of paternity when baby is born. As soon as baby is born, if everybody agrees, we don't have to have a court case.
So you know what I'm happy about? I'm happy that you're my son's godmother.
He's not doing this way though.
He is. My son
he
is not
getting married.
No, he's getting married. Yes. Well, can you still now, since I brought that up like that, so you help me segue into that. Because sometimes you can get married to a person and then they cut up on you like that too.
Yes. It's harder though. Because the law presumes, this is where the fun stuff happens for lawyers.
Okay.
The law presumes that if two people are married, and we don't even care about gender anymore because we have same-sex marriages in Florida. So if two people are married, regardless of the actual biological parentage of those children, those are the children of your marriage. So it gets fun for lawyers because now sometimes people cheat. What you do, the husband is still legally the father.
Yes.
Unless the other father, A, has a relationship, B, the husband is willing to disestablish, because if he doesn't want to, which sometimes they won't, just to like, stick it to the ex-wife, they won't disestablish. And so she's stuck with little boy who believes husband is dad and like baby daddy over here. Oh, it's fun for us. It gets really, really crazy. Even more fun in our same-sex cases because at one point, the biology of the children mattered. Now it doesn't. It used to matter like who carried, who was a donor. Did you use somebody else's sperm? Did you use somebody else's egg? Was it a turkey baster case? Was it a lab case? Now it doesn't matter. If you're married, the kids belong to the people in the marriage. That's it.
I mean, because who got time to be doing all of that?
Listen, the court was doing gymnastics at
Yeah,
one point. The court was really trying to like make it make sense and have something that would work
But
for
people
everybody.
are complicated. So
Yeah.
I could see why they would say, nope, let's just cut it down
Yeah,
the board. We
They
don't
had
even
to
care.
because it was really becoming gymnastics. Honestly, like it was so specific, very fact specific.
Mhm.
I would never think, you just never think these things are going to happen. You just
Right.
don't. Like
Right.
I've had cases where we're like counting down to an adoption and we find out that the man we thought was the dad is not the legal father because mom has been married the whole time and we didn't know. We terminated the wrong person. Like technically it's the right person, but it's the wrong person
Oh,
for
my.
our purposes.
Oh, my.
So it
Yeah,
really
that's
does matter.
gymnastics.
It was
Yeah.
gymnastics. Now
Yeah.
some of that gymnastics still does happen
Mm-hmm.
because people are very transient down here.
Mhm.
And I don't know, people believe that if they got married somewhere else, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, sweetie, if you got married anywhere, it matters. Unless you got divorced, it still matters.
Yes.
So it makes for very interesting because they don't tell. So then
Mhm.
I have paternity cases where I get a client who comes, usually it's the dad. Hey, I want to establish paternity rights for my kid. And I'm like, okay, are you married? No. Was the mom married? No. But then when I do a marriage search, she's married and it predates the kids. And I'm like, sir, you are not their father. He's like, yes, I am. We lived together for 2 years. And I'm like, I'm not saying you're not biologically their parent, but legally speaking, I have to go find this other guy, figure out if him and mom are divorced or not, figure out if he's willing to disestablish paternity or not. He might not even know these little kids. Sometimes that happens where he doesn't even know because people have been estranged for so long and had kids in the interim. And I'm like, just go get divorced. If you're not going to live with this person, just get divorced, please. It's cleaner for everybody.
See, I'm just happy that
We don't have to deal with that.
I don't have to deal with it. No. I know who my children's father is. It's only one.
It's the only one.
It was never gonna be oh my gosh, I could never.
It's a lot
But
of
people
maneuvering.
do what they do.
It's a lot of maneuvering.
Yeah, and so I'm just glad that my children are around people who can instill certain things in their lives. And that they're surrounded by
I tell
lawyers
horror stories to encourage people to think before you make a baby. I say it all the time. I'm like, listen, it's only a couple of decisions in life that really matter.
Yeah,
and that's one of them. That is one of them.
You have to make.
I have seen it make people's lives a living hell. I have, and I mean good, upstanding people that they're like, I don't know how I got in this mess, and I have to ask as part of my consultation, like, where is this? How do you know this person? The stories that they tell. Oh, I met them at spring break. I'm like, and you had a baby by them? Well, what do you know about their family support system? Nothing. I've never met their parent. Well, no wonder this is a stressful situation. You guys are strangers. Like this is a completely, separate problem. Now, every now and again, you get people who were just young and uninformed and they end up being fine and it's whatever. But some of the time, I'm like, you went out of town and you made a baby on vacation.
I mean,
why?
Because they were living there. They were living their hot girl summers.
Live your hot girl summer, but pick one of the 30 different types of birth control, please. Pick
birth
the one
control.
You like.
We have prophylactic.
We got
use everything.
Use all of them at the same time.
They still have dental down. I don't know. I just only have sex with one person, and one person
that doesn't mean you don't need to know.
Listen, I don't need to know nothing. We don't. Jessica, we're still talking candidly. You're going to have us going too far on this stream.
Well,
this is our phone conversations. Don't bring it to the world. So let's go to the next one. Now, I sent someone to you before about adoption.
Yeah.
And also not just adoption, but fostering.
Yes.
So can you speak to both? We got time. Yeah, let's speak to both.
Okay, so these are two of my favorite things.
I know. I'm so happy you're here.
Because I did, before I went on my own, I used to be an attorney for the state of Florida Guardian Ad Litem program. So I got to see all sorts of stuff. I really wish more people would go sit in courthouses and it would make everybody understand why we see some of the behavior that we see from kids at school, in the street, how they deal with people, all that stuff, because the atrocities that I have seen committed against children blows my mind all the time. Blows my mind. Like,
This is
my
why I
husband can't
don't-
talk about it. He don't want to know. He's like, baby, don't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to jail. I don't
Yeah.
know how you look these people in the face. And I'm
That's
like,
why
that's
I
my
don't
job.
work
That's what
with
I'm supposed to
children,
do.
because
It's
when
hard.
you work with children, you have to work with the parents, and the
Yes.
parents are often the issue. It is the
Sometimes it's
it-
environment.
yeah,
We have a
yeah.
lot of things that are like societal side effects.
yeah.
But what
yeah.
I will say is that if you're thinking about it, if you think you want to be a foster parent, don't
You-
think, go do it.
Well,
Go do it today.
she keep trying to.
I'm gonna keep
a
nudging them because my god baby wants a brother in his house, and that's the only way we'll get one.
and that's
So
why
we just
that's
gonna
why
keep
we're gonna be
pushing.
over there with your kids.
we
There
have
go.
incredible need for foster parents in South Florida specifically, and
Okay.
everywhere else. There are 400,000 children in foster care every year. That's a lot of kids.
That is a lot.
And
of kids.
I'm sure that there's some child that you don't know is in foster care. There were kids that I never even thought about that
Yeah,
were
we're
around
in
me all the
school,
time,
yeah.
that were at school with me, that were in my church choirs,
Mhm.
that were in clubs with me. And I was like, I never even realized, but
Mhm.
you were in foster care. So when you think about it, if you
Mhm.
think you have the heart for it, please do it. Please, 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 please do it. We don't have enough placements. Kids end up in group homes, which I hate for
Mhm.
kids, unless it's like a group home that is really a house and like a family environment.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it institutionalizes them.
Mhm.
And it doesn't really teach like those bonding, those relational things. And then they show up later having issues in their relationships as adults.
Now, let me ask you this. Then how can a person like me, it's not going to happen, but
Yes, it is. Let's work this out. Let's flesh this out on air so
How
somebody can hold you accountable. Come on.
But how can a person like me, because sometimes you think about who in the world are you getting?
You don't know.
Because, you can get the babies, but teenagers, I know that there are a lot of teenagers. There are a lot of adolescents that are in there that need to be adopted, that need to be fostered, and they
Mhm.
need to be in a good home.
Mhm.
But sometimes you never know what you're going to get. So I would say, because I hear what you're saying, but you have to be mentally ready.
Absolutely. But I'm going to push back a smidge.
Go ahead.
You had no idea who your kids were going to be when you got them either. Because
No.
y'all have holes in what y'all know about y'all parents
Well,
before y'all had y'all kids,
Now, this
right?
is true. This
So
is
it's
true.
the same risk that you run. The only difference is that when you are fostering or adopting, they have to give you a list of disclosures of everything that they know about that child.
Mhm.
They have to give it to you. So nobody is truly flying blind. Now, when you get the initial placement phone call, you might be flying blind because they might not know nothing,
Mhm.
but they supplement as they get additional information. So what I would say is if you're thinking about it, do it. Meaningfully explore. Find out the agencies in your area. So like if you're in Broward, I'll save you a phone call. It's ChildNet. If you're in Miami-Dade, it's Citrus. If you are in Monroe County, it's also Citrus. ChildNet handles Palm Beach County as well. Who's on the Treasure Coast? I got to think about that one. Give me a minute. But there's an agency that works with every county to manage and supervise foster care. There may be smaller agencies underneath, but as long as you make contact with the larger one, they have training classes to teach you how to navigate the behaviors that children may have, to navigate all the educational issues that they may have. Because especially our teenagers that are in foster care, they usually have like all sorts of holes. Like maybe they missed a grade,
Mhm.
or they didn't learn something, or they didn't have some intervention, or they didn't have parents to just teach them like basic life skills because they've been bounced around so many times.
Mhm.
If you want to be a foster parent, please do it.
Mhm.
Just do it. Don't think about it. Go get trained. Go get educated. Get your fingerprints done and do it. We desperately need that to happen for teenagers specifically, but then also for other kids. It happens all the time. Because honestly, especially in our community, somebody in your family has probably been through this, or
Yeah.
somebody in your church, or somebody in your kid's team. Like I've seen so many scenarios where they fostered a child from their church so he
Mhm.
would be in the same environment with his mom.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
or I've seen kids say, Coach, will you adopt me? And Coach
Aw.
said yes. The little boy had been in foster care for years. All his siblings had been adopted.
Oh,
He
wow.
identified that he wanted his coach to be his dad. And he
Mhm.
asked him, and Coach said yes. So, like, it's a real tangible thing that
Oh,
you
wow.
just don't think about. There's
Mhm.
somebody around you that probably already needs that.
Mm.
We all have a wayward cousin. I know I do. We
Yeah.
all got at least one that you be like, listen, let me keep my life together. Somebody gonna call me about who the kid, right? We all have at least one
Yeah.
person in our family that has that need.
Mhm.
And we know statistically that kids do better with foster parents who are
Mhm.
either their relatives
Yeah.
or who are in their same cultural environment.
Right.
We know
right.
that. Adoption, do it. I did it.
Mhm.
That's my answer to everybody. You're not gonna die. Your family's gonna be better. Your life's gonna be better. You can know everything you want to know.
But see, you have a heart for that.
I do.
You
I
have a
do,
heart
because
for
I
it.
realized that the people who loved me
Mhm.
and made me have a good life were not necessarily biologically related to me.
Mhm.
My dad, that everybody knows,
Mhm.
did not make me,
Right.
but he raised me.
Right.
You would never know.
Yeah.
People would never know.
Mhm.
So to me, it doesn't matter.
I think that sometimes, when you're going out here, I don't like the whole process of it all, because you're seeing all these beautiful children.
Mhm.
They all need a home.
They do.
And then you're just like, I'll get that one. I'll pick that one. They're not puppies.
They are not puppies. So to be clear, I don't think you should be doing it in that way.
Mhm.
I think it should be a very thoughtful consideration. When you talk to social workers who do this every day, they can help you match. They do match like kids to families. So
Mhm.
some kids have profiles. They would do better with the single mom. They need an environment where they're the youngest child or the oldest child or the child in the middle, or,
Mhm.
they need to be in a home with other teens. Like, it just depends on that particular child. So you're not
Mhm.
going to go, like you're going to like the puppy store. Like, I want this puppy because he's furry and he has
Mhm.
white hair. No, you're going to submit a home study. They
Mhm.
do a background check. They talk to references. They want to hear from your doctor. They want to hear from your therapist if you
I'm glad
have
I
one.
go to the doctor.
Right? They
Mhm.
want to know, are you healthy? They want to know what your family life is like. What do
Mhm.
y'all do on the summer break? What do y'all do on the weekends? Like, what do you do with your actual kids? If you have kids in your house, they interview your children too.
Mhm.
So you
Absolutely.
could get a frame of reference for who could fit in your house. And then they will say, okay, these are the kids we have that might fit.
Yeah.
And then you find out if you and that child mesh. They will do like a meeting, an informal one, like, let's go to the park, let's go play and see how it goes.
Mhm.
Everybody walks away, they'll talk to you, they'll talk to the child, and then they'll decide if they're going to proceed or not.
They
Sometimes
shouldn't
kids
ask
say
my
no.
kids anything, because my kids will say, she's going to homeschool us and she's hard on us.
Hey, that might be, but for some child, that might be exactly
Mhm.
what they need if public school has failed them.
Mhm.
Sometimes that's the answer. A lot of kids end up being homeschooled or going to private school because Florida allows kids who are adopted or from foster care to use, what's the name of the scholarship?
They do have a scholarship. I remember
Oh my
some
God.
of the.
I can't think about the name of it right now, but you apply
Yeah.
and you don't have to go to private school. You go to private school instead of
Mhm.
public school. So that does happen, because sometimes that's the right answer.
Mhm.
Sometimes public school is not equipped, not through any fault of its own, in my opinion. Like, we want public school to do things that I'm like, we need therapists at schools, we need PTs at schools. Like, I need a child psychologist on site, I need
But
a
they don't
parenting
want to pay.
coordinator,
They don't want to
but
pay.
they don't want to pay to do all of that. So if school cannot do it, sometimes that's fine to me, that's the right answer.
Yeah.
But it is definitely something that needs to happen. It just needs to happen more often.
I agree, but it just won't be me. I know how
Y'all
much
keep
you
watching.
have.
Y'all keep watching the show.
Because we're getting older, and if we were to
Y'all
even
not that
ever
old.
adopt, we're getting older. So if
old.
we were to adopt, it can't be a newborn baby. It
You
would
want me
have
to
to be a
mess with your mind?
teenager.
I have done an adoption for a 60. She's 65. I think she was 65 and her daughter was 4.
Oh.
She had her since she was a baby. Her oldest child was graduating college that same year. You can do it.
I don't want to.
We don't age. We don't age ever. We
No,
never
got
gonna
cocoa
age.
butter.
Exactly. We will
butter.
never age. So if you have the capacity, by all means, do it. Go for it. And you have to acknowledge too that maybe that child is just to come to you for a season.
Mhm.
Every child is not for keeps. Maybe they just need a good auntie and an uncle to
see,
hold on
that's-
to them
and
for a
that's
little
my
while.
problem. I want you to be mine. I
You
don't want
can't
you
do
to leave.
So then if
If
you
you come
want
in
one
my
to
house,
still be
you're
yours,
mine. You're
then
gonna
you
be
pick a
mine.
child who needs a family.
And then they have to leave, and you've connected, and
Sometimes.
you've done some things with these
But
children.
good foster parents keep up. So like the foster mom, foster family that had my daughters, we
Mhm.
still talk to them. It's
Oh,
been
yeah.
8 years.
Yeah.
And she not only kept up with them, she's kept up with every child she fostered.
Well, I've
And I
met
was
this
like, you're
woman.
amazing.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. And I
She's
told her she
different.
should do a reunion
She
because she
should.
kept up with all of them. She knows everybody's birthday. She
Yeah.
still calls, hey, it's their birthday. How they doing? What grade are they in? Like, pray for these kids. Like, they were very, very hands-on. Just wonderful, wonderful.
Mhm.
But if I could copy them multiple times,
Mhm.
how many more children would be affected?
Yeah.
I would like to empty foster care by the time I'm done practicing. That's what I
Yeah.
would like to see happen. That's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
That's
no,
really
it's
not that hard to do.
Because we have enough, we have more than enough people in the world that
Right.
can, do this. And one of them is just not going to be us. But
I'm gonna keep on saying it. Because your brother
there's
says as
so-
many as we could feed. So we can feed more. I'd be like, we got an extra house that's in Broward. We can house like 3 more over there.
But tell the people where they can go, because you were speaking about ChildNet. I think you said it's in Palm Beach
And Broward, yep,
and Broward County, and then Citrus is
yep, for
in
Miami-Dade and Monroe.
and the Monroe County.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have a place. I've had people to call me and ask about, and I know some people who actually just went through
Mm-hmm.
the program. My daughter's godmother, she actually does it, and this, like when I say people that can do it, she is definitely one of the people. And shout out to Natasha that fosters children, and she is, oh my gosh, I'm just like, this is my husband's god sister. I'm like, foster me. She's the sweetest person, and sometimes you just have to have the gift for these things. You definitely have a gift for that. Natasha, she, if you meet her, you haven't met her yet, but it's Sarah's, my oldest daughter's godmother. She has a heart for that. Oh, you haven't met her. Anyway, she has a heart for that. I don't know why I act like you're not a part of my family.
I don't know. Like, I think I did meet her.
So, but just having a heart for these children, because some of them come from some difficult backgrounds, and you can't come with your own personal issues and try to put this. I personally believe that if you're going to adopt, you need to have your own therapy.
Yes,
you have
absolutely.
had to have dealt with your own issues
Absolutely.
and your own problems before you start bringing.
Or be in the process. I will say in the process. That's
yes, I like that too.
Because they will guide. It will help inform you. Like, I have learned so much about myself navigating raising my own kids. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to carry that forward. Let me figure out why I feel this way, and figure out how we're going to navigate this for them, because my issues are mine. They shouldn't become theirs just because I had them.
Right.
So I think it's a really fun journey. It's particularly hilarious to do with the grandparents too, because they accept it.
But your mom is awesome though.
Yeah, but I think she had to work through her own stuff.
Yeah.
And like in raising my girls and watching her be a grandparent to them, remembering how my grandparents were with me, I'm just like, yeah, everybody has done some real soul work on themselves. And I think that is important. And for me, if that's what it takes to get your whole family to go to therapy, everybody needs to do it.
But
so everybody needs to go.
The thing that I see with your mom, because your mom, she's like a grandparent to everybody, because she says stuff to me,
Oh, because she takes everybody. Once you're my friend, you're her kid. That's how that goes. Once you are my friend, you are her kid. That's it.
And I believe that.
That's
because
it.
she's had to, get me together, But the thing is that I think that when you have the grandparents, like your mom and things like that, because of the love that she carries for you, she has the more to do, care for the things that you care for.
I agree.
And she covers these babies in such a way that they're not going to know any different.
No,
they're not going to know.
But that's how it should be. Like, that's how we grew up. My family's from the South. My mom is from Louisiana. And my husband is always like mesmerized, because we're those people. We have family reunions.
She's talking about my husband.
I love saying it. My husband.
Oh my God, they've been married 2 days.
It ain't been 2 days, 6 months. But we are those people. We have family reunions. We have like family group chats. We have like just stuff. So if I ever bring a friend home, once I bring my friend home, that's it.
Yeah.
One of our friends went with us to family reunion on my dad's side. We were tired. We had driven all the way to the Panhandle. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go lay down. I was at my grandma's house. I'm going to my grandma's bed. And she went with me. And my auntie was like, oh, you a grandchild now, girl. Welcome to the family. And now every time I talk to my grandma, she asks, well, how is your friend? And when are you bringing her back? And her son, I got a new granddaughter and a new great grandson. Like, we just take you. So if I bring you home, you're coming home to stay. And that's it.
You're in there. I love your uncle and your grandma. I love these people.
We take you for keeps.
Very sweet people.
That's why. That's part of why I think it's so easy. Because when I think about our family is already unnaturally large. I have more cousins than the average bear. So, like, what the difference is one more, or two more, or three more, or five more? It is. They just be like, bring them all home. We're gonna cook what y'all want to eat. That's all they're gonna ask.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so happy that you came today and that you're sharing this with us. And I think the more we grow, and then, like I said, you are part of this particular Let's Talk Marriage family now. Your family is growing. You've, recently gotten married, and we're going to have him on the show a little later as well to talk about about you guys as just being newlyweds still, and how you guys are navigating through that. And hopefully we can get him in a nice shirt and tie, and maybe we can
He
have him on
gets
some
dressed
slippers.
now.
We can put him on some shoes.
He wears shoes
Let me tell
too.
you, he's like the beach guy. I could talk about him. Nobody else can.
It's true.
This is
It's
my
our brother.
this is my brother. This is my kid's guy. We were just talking when he came in today. I was like, my daughter's 16 now, and I was like, oh my God, I remember when he used to just put them on his stomach, and like they were little cats. And
now
they're almost taller than him. It's so funny how you just grow into this this big family. And I'm happy to see that your family is growing. God is blessing you, and He's going to keep you. And this is definitely something that needs to be seen. And they,
and discussed more.
and they have their dad. They have their family, but he's been their dad anyway.
Yeah, to them, they're like, we're talking about him. He's already their dad.
Yeah, he's already their dad. So this actually, it's really, really good how all of this actually works. And how our friendships are as well, and how it all ties into each other.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes they talk about, the black dollar isn't spent, more than this many times.
7,
like,
yeah.
And so now, because this is how our money, it goes within our circle, and even outside of our circles that we have, it's growing. And so this is such a beautiful thing, and we're growing with our fostering, and our adoptions. It ain't
She's
me.
so scared to say it, y'all, but it's coming.
It ain't me,
It's
but
coming. But I think that is for me why like things like Let's Talk Marriage and like talking about marriage and family is so important. Because underneath it all, for me, the building block for society is family. So if we cannot make family safe, healthy, appropriate, school is going to be out of whack. Business is going to be out of whack. Interpersonal relationships is going to be out of whack. Like all of those things underneath it all. Like I can tell when I talk to somebody on the phone when they have trauma. I can tell when they come from broken homes. I can tell when they've had like childhood experiences or like a family that's not safe or welcoming because of the way that they communicate.
Absolutely.
Very simplistically. So to me, if we can, showcase family, figure out how to make it safe. That's your work therapy, all that good stuff. And then make it legal, my side, because I need people to not just be married. I need us to have inheritances.
Absolutely.
I need children to be positioned. I need everybody to have legal relationships. Because when we get to the estate planning side of stuff, everybody crying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I can't do anything because y'all are not legally related. And I hate to tell people
She's
that.
big on that.
I hate
big on, hey, what are we doing?
What we doing?
Set up? What do we
set up?
What are we putting down? Where are you putting your money?
Yes, ma'am. Because I need everybody to have family, and people don't realize there's so many other things kind of assume that family is safe and stable, right?
Right.
Like the whole premise of generating like generational wealth assumes that you have a safe, stable family that communicates, works together, and has educated the next generation to be able to navigate what we're going to give to them. And we just don't always see that.
No.
But we're going to do it over here.
But we're doing it over here. And I'm thankful that that we can do that, and this, I think this comes with, trusting God and believing what God says. And then God, what I think that He does is He puts the right people in your life and the right people around your children. Because it does, like, sometimes people say, oh, now they're saying, oh, it doesn't take a village. No,
that's a lie. It takes a country.
Village.
I have twins. I need a nation state.
Yeah, it takes a village of the right thinking people, because you can't have any and everybody around your children. You can't have any and everybody around your family. My son does not spend the night at anybody's houses, but he's been over there with her and over there with, his goddad. So, but he can't go everywhere,
right.
And that's just, and my girls either. That's just how I am.
I feel like my mom every time I say that. Though,
yeah.
They're like, well, Mommy, why can't I do that? I'm like,
because
I'm your, no, I just say because I'm your mom and you're my kid.
Yeah.
I can't tell you why other people let them do other things.
Yeah.
But I'm the one who, God can come talk to me about anything else.
Yeah.
When we stand in front of Him, He could talk to me about anything else I did wrong in my life. But what I would not do is mess up them.
Yeah.
If they choose to do their own thing when they grow up, that's on them. But what I have to do as a parent, that's my responsibility. That's just my responsibility.
Yeah. So, but we have these private conversations, she and I, and and we talk about a lot of other different things offline and things that we see and how do we, you know, how can we make it better? And those conversations, if you're not having those conversations with your friends, I don't know what to tell you, but
Get new friends.
you could
Get new friends. No, really. Get new friends. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Or immerse yourself in your family. Some people have written off family so much that they lose or miss out on like all the jewels that they have in their own family. Because well, my mom says my dad's family is this way, and they're not. And you find out that they're not.
You gotta go and find out for yourself. Go find out for yourself. Well, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move forward. This is good.
This is real fun.
Did you enjoy yourself today?
Yeah, I did.
I'm glad you did.
I can't wait till me and Sean come back.
We're gonna have you guys back on here. We got to do Marie next. Our in-house taxes. Oh my gosh, she has to come on. We got to get her back on the show, and she's been really busy, but
she doesn't know her name right now.
Yeah,
taxes is hard, and we have to deal with that too.
Yeah, as a family.
Please be legal, guys. Please just. Don't stress out my accountant.
I tell people all the time, I personally cannot. Everything I do as it pertains to both my businesses, it has to be legal.
I'm not going to jail.
Well, I ain't going to jail. And Marie ain't going to let me go to jail.
She's not going to let
She's not going to let me go.
That would be Marie Porter of Linus Accounting.
Yes. You guys you'll see her when she comes back. But go look at the last video she did, Marie Porter. Yeah. That when we had her on the show, it was a wealth, just a lot of information. So how can people find you? How can they consult with you?
So
do you charge for consulting?
Typically, yes. Okay. I do not charge foster parents for consultations because they never have legal representation.
Okay.
So if a foster parent calls my office, they can talk to me for about 15-30 minutes and I'm not going to charge them for that.
Okay.
Adoptions, I sometimes charge for them, sometimes I don't. Depends on if it's private or not. Family law, paternity issues, divorces, all those things, I charge for those. Guardian ad litem cases, I do not. I am in South Florida, Yates Legal Group. I am on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I think we closed the X account, I think.
Because that X is like, it's too much going on.
It is. So I don't think we're using that right
because we're not using X.
But my handle is at Yates Legal Group.
Spell your name for us.
Yates, YATES, Legal, LEGAL Group, GROP.
GROUP, right?
GROUP, right?
Yeah, we know how to spell.
We do. I was an error. You can't
spell.
I have a book on Amazon. It's called The Case for Adoption. I wrote that book.
Right. Why didn't you bring your book?
I forgot. If I'm honest, I forgot.
Oh,
I was like, I got to remember.
Definitely, there are a lot of people who they ask me,
and
these
it's
questions.
Really small on purpose, so you could read it like probably in a weekend with some coffee. It just makes the point because there are just so many orphans in the world, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. There's so many people that want to adopt, and there's so many orphans, and I'm like, well, let's just bring those two people together and let's figure this out. So I have a book. It's on Amazon. Where else can you find me? You can find me in courtrooms in Miami-Dade and Broward County.
A courtroom near you.
Right, basically. But most of the time on Zoom these days, which makes the court more accessible for regular people. I appreciate that for them and for me. But yeah, Miami-Dade and Broward, I prefer to practice. Every now and again, I touch my toe in Palm Beach County. I don't like to.
Listen, I don't know. Well, Palm Beach is a different thing.
It's just
Broward
different.
County
and I grew up there, so it's so weird to me. It's so
God.
strange to me.
I find it strange that Miami-Dade County can't get their paperwork together. I do not like to work in Miami. But
I understand why I do. Miami's like organized chaos in some ways, but they get the job done in ways that other counties can't. So to me, it's really strange.
True. I mean, but y'all judges are off the chain and they are wild. But the Broward County judges, you can go and sit in the judges, not chambers, but in the courtroom, and it's so pleasant and peaceful in there. In Miami's
a little bit of a reality show sometimes. Miami court is fun. Like I said, Miami court is fun for lawyers. It's not always fun for people.
You're sitting in there and anything could pop off.
I've been present.
At any moment.
I've been present.
No, ma'am. Especially in the child support.
I've been escorted out of courthouses by police before.
Yeah, no, ma'am.
Been there, done that.
No, ma'am.
Had to have people walk me to my car.
I work with substance abuse cases, and it's nothing compared to Miami-Dade County.
People get really stressed out about child support sometimes, and I get it. When you see somebody's ledger and like they are 6 figures in arrears, can you imagine?
No, I can't.
Can you
because
imagine
none of them
somebody
paid all
telling
this
you-
child support. We are not on
Right.
that.
But you guys are the anomaly. Can you imagine somebody telling you that your tax returns are going to be garnished for the next however many years it takes to cover that off?
Oh,
Or
oh,
if
wow.
you get any settlement from any kind of lawsuit,
They
it's
take
going to
it
be
all.
taken. Can you imagine that? So that is really high stakes for some people. I'm not justifying their behavior, but I'm telling you why you might see some of the things you might
Yeah,
see.
taking all. Oh my gosh! And then the thing, and we're not gonna go all the way into it. Maybe we can talk about that next time. If they make a mistake, they don't get the money back.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Real quick, can you tell us why?
Basically, because the state cannot be found responsible for like errors. That's the same reason why we can't sue police. It's the same reason why we can't sue like individual teachers. The state cannot be an actor. They can't.
Boo.
She's like, boo. I'm
Where's
just
my
telling
boo
you.
Button. I don't want to give a clap. Where's my boo button?
You don't have a
I
boo
don't have a
button.
button.
But yeah,
Let me
we
see.
all feel similarly.
Oh,
is
that's a
big
hand
issue.
clap. Why am I hand? I don't have a.
There you go. Use that one. There
I
you
use-
go.
I use that one.
That works because the state cannot be sued for its errors. Yes. And that is one of the big reasons why it matters to me that you don't go that route. Because if there's an error, it's very hard to fix. Very, very hard. I've seen people pay child support for kids they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
I've seen people be assessed child support that's completely inaccurate because the case volume over there is huge, right? They are years behind on arrears. So some people who applied for child support 2-3 years ago haven't gotten the
So-
dollar yet.
This is what I understand why a
Mhm.
lot of women like to take the cases to Miami-Dade County as well, because it's we're not going to even get into all
Yep.
of that. That's why I say,
The
come
truth
on,
is
bring
just
it to
asking for
Broward.
it. Most
Yeah.
women will get more if they just say, hey, I need you to pay.
Mhm.
And the dude say, yeah, y'all write it up, get it notarized, file it with the court. That's your own agreement.
Yeah, but that's in a perfect world.
It is, but it just makes so much more sense for people.
I mean, in a
It
perfect
makes
world.
so much more
In
sense.
a perfect world, people would wait. They would get
Well, yes.
married. They would wait
Yes.
a year after their marriage and make
At
sure they
least.
want to have
Yes.
some babies.
Yes.
And then they would have the babies and they would do all the things, and the family would be, that would
be
such
so
a
boring.
beautiful.
What would I do every day?
I mean, I did it.
Yes, but you are the anomaly in that way.
Because I needed to make sure. I'm like, well, if we're gonna have some kids, man, this has to be.
I feel like people should know that before they walk down that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta. I don't know. You gotta.
But you
know
were
that
married
you
a
know
long
that you
time
know.
ago when marriage was not for Instagram.
Oh,
You got to remember that. You got married pre-social media,
I did.
which makes a huge impact on how people view marriage, who you choose to marry. The craziest correlation. The more you spend on your wedding, the higher the probability that you get divorced. Nobody
Oh,
ever
yeah.
talks about that or thinks about that.
Yeah.
But that's the truth. So like the people who go to the courthouse and get married, I'm like,
Yeah.
you are never going to be in my
Oh, let me
office.
give you a hand clap.
Oh, give me a hand clap. You are nearly never going to be in my office unless there's something
Yeah.
like seriously wrong. But people who spend, $80,000, and in Miami, that's real easy to do.
Mhm.
But I'm like, why? For
Mhm.
Instagram? Why?
Yeah.
It's not as if we were people who, I'm inviting this many people and they're going to give me back $500,000 in wedding presents. Okay, well, then fine. Spend your $80,000 on your wedding. They don't
Mhm.
care. But people end up in debt over the wedding, and the amount of wedding debt is one of the hugest indicators of divorce.
Yeah, we could talk
Mhm.
about that all day. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm telling you, Attorney Yates, thank you for being here.
You are so very welcome. This was fun. I had a blast.
You got to come back,
Okay,
and we have to talk about divorce.
we got to talk about divorce.
I don't even know if
Alright.
we should talk about divorce because we're in
You have to, though. I feel like you have to, and I'm going to tell you why. Because some people who are married now were divorced,
Mhm.
or they may be contemplating divorce.
So
We have to talk about it.
So there's a lot of people that I know that are going through that right now, and it's a terrible time for them. And
It's a death.
Yeah,
It's a death.
Yeah.
That is the way
Yeah.
that we're taught to conceptualize dealing with our clients who are navigating divorce. They are literally processing the death of their relationship,
Mhm.
the death of their family as they know it.
Mhm.
It could be the death of their relationships with their children, depending on how everything falls. And then their social, like we never think about who
Who's
keeps the
their
friends, who
the
keeps the
friends?
dog, who keeps the church, who keeps the
Yeah.
social club, who keeps
Yeah.
the basketball
All of
team,
that.
who keeps the puppy, who gets to
Yeah.
keep the Beanie Babies and like
Yeah.
the stuff out the kitchen cabinet, like
Yeah.
all these things that we don't think
Don't
about,
have
but
to,
that is the
yeah.
grief process for people. So I do think you have to talk about it. at some point. You got to talk about it.
I tell you, we're going to talk about it. We'll bring her back and we'll talk about that. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself today. We have to bid you guys adieu. It is 4:40
Ooh.
here on a Sunday. I would tell you guys that, we're pre-recording this because we just needed to, because
We be
Attorney
busy
Yates
around here.
is busy
It's
and
hard.
I got a lot of stuff going on too, but we're still on at 12 o'clock every Monday. So you guys can find us on iHeartRadio. We are on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We are on Reddit. We're on a lot of different other platforms that I can't even name right now because my husband usually does that. So he usually tells you all the places that you can find us. But nevertheless, he will be back next week. And but right now he's had to get some things done. The children were trying to be all out of whack today, and he had to go into straight daddy mode. And I said, well, you know what? Me and Jessica ain't got no problem. We're gonna have girls' day. So whatever.
All the kids and all
The
rest of
show,
day.
okay? The daddies are dealing with the children, so the show must go on. And I'm so happy that you came. Thank you for
You're
visiting
welcome.
with us today. You know you're always welcome on the show.
Yeah, I got
And
we got to talk about divorce. We have to
we-
talk about it.
so we'll talk about divorce the next time we come. But
Mhm.
right now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna sign off. If you can leave everybody or with one thing, what is one thing that you would share with everybody? If you could say one thing, what is the one last thing that you would say?
One last thing.
And no, I'm
Always.
not adopting. Oh, I thought that was.
Oh, well, okay, that's the
No.
free one. Do that. Always talk to a family lawyer first. Always. Before
Okay.
you get married, before you think about getting divorced, before you adopt, before you have a baby with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, before you turkey base somebody, before you choose to do whatever you choose to do that will create a family. Contact a family lawyer where you live. Don't call somebody in Florida if you live in Tennessee, because we can't help you if the rules are not the same.
Absolutely.
So contact a family lawyer before you do anything, because it could save you either
Mhm.
money or time or both,
Absolutely.
and it might make your life easier.
And get them your number one more time.
305-308-2977. If you call during business hours, you're going to get my assistant, but she will schedule a time for you to talk to me.
It is what it is. What it is. People be
Yeah.
busy.
Court is all consuming. They don't care where I am or where I'm supposed to be. They
No.
just want me to be in that courtroom in front of
Yes.
them in that moment.
In that moment, you
And
got to
that's
do
it.
it. You got to be there. All right, guys, we're going to tell Jessica bye. And I want you guys to have a very nice weekend. And I know you guys are going to see this on Monday. So have a very nice week. And like Tabitha Brown always says, don't go messing up nobody else's day if you're having a bad day.
Oh, yes. Yes. I need a t-shirt and a work shirt that says that.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for joining Let's Talk Marriage. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.